Hi everybody, it's Jackie Olive, the creator of Olive Tree Prep, and I'm back today with another Tuesday's tip. Last time we talked about 10 frames and how we can use 10 frames to build number sense in our 3, 4, and 5-year-olds. And now today we're going to talk about another skill that we can do that really helps boost that number sense and the idea and concept of numbers and quantities and constructing and deconstructing numbers. And this is called subitizing. Subitizing is kind of a big funny word for a pretty simple concept. And I'm going to show you some really easy ways that you can kind of include subitizing in your routine to help build that number sense with your kiddos. So first I'm going to tell you what it is. Subitizing is just help using like dots, patterns, and letting kids, so that kids can recognize a quantity quickly. So you can think about this as, when we play like a dice game that, we don't have to count the dots on the dice to know how many there are because we have familiarity with that. So we understand that when we see this dot pattern, we know that this is 4. Our little ones may or may not know that yet. They probably don't. And so more repeated exposure with showing different dot patterns like this is going to help them kind of internalize those dot patterns and then be able to use them to make new numbers. Okay, so we want to be able to flash an image of a dot pattern up really quickly to our kiddos and put it back down, and then be able to see that image in their mind and automatically know how many dots were on the card without counting them. So it just takes a lot of familiarity, and this can be really fun because we're just like, okay, tell me how many dots you see, and we put it up and then put it down. And so they have to say, oh, I saw one, there was 1 dot, and they can make that image in their mind. So we start out really simple, right? 1, 2, blank, 3. And so I just made these paper plates on a Sharpie. Okay, so this is just kind of a really easy activity. And so as they get more and more familiar playing this game where you quickly show them and then hide it away and they tell you how many there are, then you can start building up to bigger numbers. So for example, if you were making the number 8, there's lots of different ways that you could show that number. So you might flash up something like this. Okay, so if your child is familiar with the dot patterns, then they're going to quickly see, okay, 5 and 3. So even though this plate is no longer in front of them, they can imagine, okay, 5 dots and 3 dots, and they'll be able to figure out and count on to 8. If they can't do it yet in the beginning, you can show them again and maybe prompt them. Say like, okay, look for small dot patterns that you know to make up the big dot pattern, see what do you see? And then 5 and 3, and then you can talk to them about like making a mental picture in their mind. So you can see how all of a sudden this is starting to really introduce the concepts of addition and subtraction, kind of this part making a whole. And then we can keep going, right? So then it's like, okay, what do you see here? Okay, well, we saw 6 and 2, so I know 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and you can just imagine it, and they can just imagine it in their mind. So this takes some time and practice. This is not like a one-time activity and your kid's going to master it. So what what another parent had shared with me that uses my program, that she had a ton of success with this, that she made a set like this of these plates, and she would just keep them in the car in between like the driver's seat and the console. And so every time they came to a stoplight or a stop sign, she would just like flash it to the back seat, right? While the kids were, sitting back there. And it kind of became a game. They knew, and they would anticipate like, okay, red light, we're going to get a card. And it was like whoever could figure out the answer first, and they kind of became a game. I have done this even with my second grader likes to play along with this because I flashed it too fast for even her to count. And so it really helps her with her math facts actually as well. And she can kind of like link that algorithm to it. But you don't need to worry about that with your pre-Kers unless you have a kiddo that just really wants to learn their math facts. Some kids do, and then you can run with that too. But this is just one of those really foundational skills. And then as your child gets older and the algorithm and we start having to memorize our math facts and that comes into play, you're going to find that your kiddo just knows them because they've been practicing all this time with this silly dot game, and they've been learning all the different number combinations and how to make numbers. You could go all the way up to 20 if you wanted to. So This is a really fun activity. It does require some consistency, but if you kind of pair it with something else that you already have going on in your daily routine, then it becomes easy to do and practice every day. So I hope that Subitizing tip helps you out today. Also, there's a pretty fun song by Jack Hartman called Subitize. You could look that one up on YouTube too, and that's kind of a fun song to sing along, and they practice some Subitizing on that one. So lots of different ways that we can do this, but this is one kind of handy tool that fits into everybody's routine, and that's, you know, kind of fun, and that the kids like to play along. So I will see you next week for another Tuesday's tip. If you have an opportunity to, and you want a fully comprehensive program that includes Subitizing and much more for both math, and we have all kinds of amazing literacy best practices, check out olivetreeprep.com. All the planning and all the work is done for you, and all you have to do is just follow the lesson plans, and your kid can watch the videos on demand, and before you know it, they're going to be ready for kindergarten. So we'll see you soon, and I'll see you next week. Bye.